The 1904 World's Fair, also known as the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, was held in St. Louis, Missouri. And it was a celebration of the centennial of the Louisiana Purchase. The fair showcased various exhibits and pavilions from different countries, and the Philippines was one of the participating nations. However, the display of the Philippines in the World's Fair was not without controversy. At that time, the Philippines was a colony of the United States. The country was annexed by the United States in 1898 following the Spanish-American War. The Philippines was represented in the fair by a massive exhibit that included a reconstruction of a typical Philippine village, complete with houses, huts, and marketplaces. The exhibit also featured Filipinos dressed in traditional clothing, performing dances and demonstrations of everyday life. Throughout American history, the term savage has been used to defend the treatment and exploitation of various people, as well as to pass off racism as American benevolence when it comes to Asians, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, and other racial and ethnic groups in America. It has also been used to defend the colonization of other nations on the grounds that America must instill civilization there. The term implies that savages are an uncivilized, uneducated, and violent people in desperate need of America to save them and assist them in thriving in a civilized world. The word savage is used in a deeply arrogant way that reinforces white superiority and racial hierarchies and shapes the identities of new immigrants' non-white groups. The 1904 Louisiana Purchase Exposition, St. Louis World's Fair, provided a clear illustration of this. The 1904 World's Fair provided America with a chance to solidify its global hegemony and project an image of an imperial power. Following the conclusion of the Filipino-American War in 1902, Americans developed a fascination for the locals of the newly acquired territory, which prompted the creation of anthropological exhibits showcasing what life was like in the Philippines. During this time, anthropologists adopted an evolutionary viewpoint based on the superiority of white people and their culture. Anthropologist Albert Jenks regarded the Igorots as the most primitive tribe in the Philippines, and they were featured in one of the exhibits. Negative stereotypes of the Igorot people and the Filipino community were developed as a result of these exhibits' human zoos. Over 1,000 Filipinos were transported to the World's Fair at a cost to the U.S. government of over $1.5 million. The fair's overall budget was $19.6 million. One of the fair's most visited attractions was the Igorot village. The exhibit supported the thesis that white people were superior and that the Philippines needed to become a colony of the United States due to their barbaric practices. The United States would gain access to the Pacific for trade, military operations, and other strategic objectives by colonizing the Philippines. 12-year-old Antero Cabrera was one of the Igorot individuals on display at the St. Louis World's Fair. Even though Antero was aware of the exhibit's true purpose, he still voluntarily took part of it. Antero sought to build a better life for himself and his descendants while pursuing the American dream. He was able to travel the world during this time and gained both monetary and social standing by taking part in these anthropological displays. People who were viewed as savages during imperialism were subjugated, colonized, and made to adopt American culture. Because of their skin color, immigrants from these territories experienced a great deal of prejudice and discrimination in their new lives in America. The perceived racial and economic exploitation in the Philippines exhibit gave rise to the controversy. Many visitors viewed the exhibit as a manifestation of American imperialism's power over the Philippines. Some believed that the recreated Philippine village was a stereotypical and demeaning depiction of the Filipino people. And it was believed that the display of Filipinos dressed in traditional garb was an effort to exercise and commercialize their culture. The controversy also extended to the treatment of the Filipinos who were part of the exhibit. Some Filipinos were recruited to come to the United States to be part of the fair, and they were promised good wages and opportunities. However, many of these promises were not kept, and the Filipinos were subjected to poor working conditions, low wages, and racial discrimination. The Philippine exhibit at the 1904 World's Fair caused controversy that went beyond the fairgrounds. Additionally, Filipino-Americans and other groups who perceived the exhibit as a manifestation of racism and imperialism protested and criticized it. Some of these groups organized boycotts and demonstrations against the fair and the Philippine exhibit. Despite the controversy, the Philippine exhibit was one of the most popular attractions at the 1904 World's Fair. Millions of visitors came to see the reconstruction of the Philippine village and to watch the Filipinos perform their traditional dances and demonstrations. The exhibit was seen as a symbol of the United States' growing power and influence in the world, and it was praised by many as an example of American progress and civilization. I hope you enjoyed today's video and gained some knowledge from it. Please consider subscribing to this channel if you enjoy my content, which primarily consists of historical information about Filipino-Americans and the Philippines. This will help us continue to make videos like this. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please click the notification bell if you'd like to receive notifications of our upcoming videos.